Well, hello, everyone. It is my pleasure again to be visiting with another amazing Be Well, God Bless member. And today we are visiting with Sue Rapley of Bridge for Wellness. And I just can't wait to visit more with her. So, Sue, it's so glad to have you on the line with us today.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear more about your story and a little bit about your journey. So why don't we get right to it? Tell me a little bit about yourself and your story and how this brought about this interest in this passion of Bridge for Wellness.
Yes. Yes, I live in Prior Lake, Minnesota, which is a suburb of Minneapolis. And really my journey in this line of work to be a health coach really started back when my 15-year-old son got pretty sick. He was 15 then. He's older now. But he was having some pretty significant health issues. He had been diagnosed with GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and was having some pretty serious complications from that. Basically, at the worst of it, food was basically getting stuck. And we thought, 15-year-old boy, he's just eating too fast, slow down. But it was a lot more than that. As it turned out, that lower esophageal sphincter, which is at the base of the esophagus and the entrance to the stomach, and is there really to help to open up when food goes down, and then it's supposed to close off so that the acids from the stomach don't slosh back up. Well, that wasn't closing off properly, and he was just having these acids just sloshing up and down in his esophagus and basically just burning the esophagus and causing some pretty nasty lesions. And, imagine this happening over and over again on a daily basis. Those lesions turned into, some scarring and also caused a stricture or tightening right about where his breastbone is or was, and of course, food then started to get stuck. He had that dilated a couple of times. The second time, which basically was they went in and they just took sort of like a balloon, if you will, and stretched that. And of course, there's complications with each time that. Or there can be potentially complications each time that happens. Luckily, didn't experience that. But at the worst of it, only liquids would go down. So, of course, it was an extremely difficult time in our lives trying to figure out, how to best navigate this. And he was put on meds to try and reduce the acids. But things progressively were still continuing to get worse, and the dosage of meds that they had wanted him on, his body just would not react well to it. It would not tolerate it. So we were kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place. We didn't know what to do for him. The meds were intended to reduce the inflammation so that they could go in as the next step and do surgery, but because we couldn't or his body wasn't tolerating that dosage of meds, that didn't become an option. So we didn't know what to do. The doctors, I kept asking questions, well, what can I do at home with him alongside what you're doing to try and get the inflammation down and try to get him, healing up and feeling better. And I wasn't getting the answers I felt that I needed, and really feeling alone and in a place of hopelessness, really, because I didn't know how to help this child. And even the medical profession wasn't being able to help him. And we went and saw 3 different gastroenterologists. And I remember, how low I felt at that point because I didn't know how to help him. And I really went home and I prayed a mother's desperate prayer. And, I can't even explain it, but doors started to open after that. And we were led to information and to people that could help us. And slowly we started to implement those things that we were learning from a natural perspective. And his body started to respond favorably. And very quickly, within 9 months, the stricture was completely gone. The lesions were completely gone. And he didn't need the surgery in the end. And to this day, he hasn't needed the surgery. He still continues on the low dosage meds because that, lower esophageal sphincter isn't working as well as it needs to be. But he is like night and day from where he was at, and I'm still hopeful that we'll be able to find even more things that are going to help him going forward. But it was just such a godsend, and being able to learn those things really gave me the passion for what I do today. And, I kept thinking and hoping, well, how can I pass this information along to others? Because I remembered where I was at, that feeling of just sheer hopelessness. And and the blessing of learning this information that helped him so much. And it was a matter of, it just seemed wrong to keep the information to myself. And I felt like, how do I get this? How do I share this with other people and those that need it? Luckily, I, found coaching and, discovered the school that I went to, which was the Institute for Integrative Nutrition out of New York, and just, learned all this additional information, which now I, integrate with what I learned with my son, that experience. And, I'm blessed every day just to help other people on their journey to wellness.
That is quite a journey, quite a story, to go from the bottom, as you mentioned, you said low, it just felt so low, so hopeless, to so thrilled with just 9 months of a complete turnaround. What a transformation, what a story. How can I ask, it was a 9-month kind of process of the healing journey. How long did you deal with the symptoms and the meds and the potential for surgery before that desperate mother's prayer?
Right. We were dealing with his failing health, I would say, for a good year previous to that. I mean, it was, from the time food started to get stuck when we didn't really know what was going on, it was probably almost a year. And when we realized how irritated and how serious his condition had become, because obviously it didn't happen overnight, right? We just didn't realize this was happening, right? So it was a progression of the illness as things, were going along. So I would say, I really feel that he has had reflux probably since the day he was born, and didn't know any different, So, as these things will, things don't happen overnight in our bodies. It takes years, many years. So, I guess to answer your question, probably 15 years led, to this.
Just an ever-increasing intensity and frequency.
Correct.
Where it couldn't be ignored anymore.
Right.
or couldn't
Right.
be
It
dealt
just
with
progressively
anymore.
got worse. Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, what a journey in that 9 months to move out of that condition in that state, because even 2 weeks feels like an eternity when you're dealing with the words diagnosis, symptoms, meds, surgery. Man, I tell you, time just stops. And it is, so exciting to hear how you and your son, your whole family, of course, on the journey with you, went through this healing journey then, which is such a much better direction to go.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Very exciting, very exciting. Well, thank you for sharing that. You've now transitioned. You have Bridge for Wellness, and I know there's not enough time to describe that entire journey, but could you share with us, just to summarize who you help and a little bit about your service through Bridge for Wellness?
Yes, absolutely. Well, my passion, of course, with my son's experience of going through that journey with him really left me with a passion with the gut and gut issues. And so that is, and as I was learning all this, it really became very apparent that so much of our health begins with our gut. And even with my son, for example, he had been experiencing throughout his life some other issues, asthma and allergies and, immune issues as well, a low immunity. And, again, all health begins in the gut. So, and what I mean by that is, we've all heard the term, we are what we eat. Well, it's even more than that. We are what we absorb and we're able to take out of our food and use in our bodies. So if our gut is not healthy, it's going to affect the rest of the body. It's going to affect the brain. It's going to affect how we're able to deal with our environment, for example, allergies, and how the rest of our organs are all going to function as well, because everything has a knock-on effect, I look at the body very holistically in an integrative way. The things that we eat are absolutely important, but so is, our mindset and our lifestyle choices. So it's, very integrative, and it's not, it's more than just, compartmentalized. Our bodies are a whole system, and what's happening in one area affects all the others. But central to all that is getting our digestive system good and healthy.
So usually my next question is, okay, thank you. You've explained the product and service, what you do. And my next question is usually, so how does this really help people? But I think you've already done that. I'm almost wondering, can I take a stab at it? Can I try and describe it? It seems to me we take a pill for this, we take a pill for that, and we end up treating our symptoms and the things that irritate us, but we never get to the source. It sounds to me like you're really helping people so often get to the root source of so many other problems. Is that how you see it? That's what I'm hearing from you. Does that sound accurate?
Absolutely, you nailed it. Yeah. So what I do is really geared at getting at the root cause of what's going on, because it can show up, in so many different ways. But unless you get at the root cause of what's causing your issues, it's going to show up somewhere else. So, we've all become accustomed to the, Band-Aid sort of fix for things. You know, we all want instant fixes, and taking a pill, you know, masks the symptoms quite often. But it's not getting at the underlying root cause of why that's happening. And the only real way to fix it is to uncover the root cause. And, you know, that does take longer. And it's somewhat of a process of piecing together what is going on and trying to figure out what exactly is that root cause. So you have to be a little bit of a detective, and it's getting the all those pieces to fit together. Because, you know, you may be getting headaches, for example, but why are those happening? Is it, you know, a deficiency in something? Is it because you're constantly under stress? You know, is it, you know, what's happening in your body that's causing this to happen? So, yeah, you absolutely nailed it. You know, my passion and my aim, and looking at the body very holistically, is to get at the underlying root cause of what's going on, so that we can get that taken care of, and then the symptoms. Once that's done, then the symptoms will go away. You know, we all have like weak links, if you will, but you know, there's so many studies about, you know, epigenetics and everything. You know, why just because you have a family history of something doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be your fate. You know, I really aim to empower my clients, and that they can do so much at, you know, in their daily lives to help them to be well. Just because, you know, you have this family history doesn't mean that that is your fate. You know, that may happen if you are not being proactive in your life, and even sometimes, you know, there's not much you can do, but you have much better chance if you're actually being proactive and making good choices and not having irritation from foods that don't agree with you, and, you know, a better lifestyle in place. You know, we want to, like, have the best odds and the best outcome possible, and aligning all these things so that that can happen is always the best choice. You know, I'm totally not against pharmaceutical drugs and surgeries when they're needed. I just feel that there's so much else that we can do to try and get at the root cause, rather than just going to those things right offhand. And if the things, the natural things that we can do, aren't working, thank goodness that there is the pharmaceutical drugs and the surgeries to fall back on. I just don't feel that they should be the first thing to try. Sometimes we need them just to, like, you know, like as triage, you know, to take care of the seriousness of the issues. But then I feel like, you know, then we need to, like, uncover and figure out what's going on. How can we help our bodies to heal alongside that? And hopefully we'll be able to come off the med at some point, or at least have lower dosage of meds.
Right.
And then, you know, rather than just jumping at the high dose of meds and the surgery as the only option, there's other options in most cases.
Yeah, and those probably often become the true long-term fix as well.
Correct.
For managing and maintaining. Even drastic measures can still be just drastic Band-Aids.
Right. Yeah, and you know, if I get injured tomorrow and I have, you know, a huge laceration on my arm and my arm's dangling off, of course I'm going to go and get that taken care of at the hospital, you know.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you have to be smart
absolutely.
about things, you know. Yeah, and And thank goodness for that. But if it's something, that isn't quite so severe, let's look at how we can help our bodies to heal. They were designed to heal. I mean, they're this amazing miracle. We cut ourselves, right? And it heals. Isn't that amazing? And that our bodies are designed that way. Yeah, and it's trying to figure out what the irritation is that's causing us. Sometimes it's food, sometimes it's the way we're under stress all the time, or we're not sleeping, or we're not, having good lifestyle choices. And once we can, put those things into place, the body starts to respond in this amazing way of healing,
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I tell you, Sue, this has just been really informative and really interesting to hear how you blend this whole story together. This whole thing comes back full circle. You were praying that desperate mother's prayer not too long ago, and now I just sense a true heart to help other desperate people, desperate mothers, desperate individuals, just saying the same thing, echoing the same things, and those same senses, those same feelings of hopelessness, and that you were at. I truly sense your heart to help them. And you mentioned that we are what we absorb, and I think that my prayer for you and your business would definitely be that those who come into contact with you would truly absorb the experience and the wisdom that you have gleaned from that process, and that they really just benefit from your guidance and training. So thank you so much for sharing with us, and we hope that we just are able to continue to send more and more people your way and just help you get your word out.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yes, that too is my prayer, my daily prayer, for the people that I can help to be able to find me, and for me really to be the resource for those people that I wish had been available to me when I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, is there any, question that you wish I would have asked, or just one more thing you want to leave us with before we get in touch with you at a later date?
Yeah, just, a message of hope. I know what it feels like to feel that hopelessness. And there's always hope. The answers are always there somewhere. And don't lose hope. If you're not getting the answers you need, just keep searching. Keep praying about, being led, because absolutely you will be. Just keep the faith and keep looking. Be perseverant.
Absolutely. Well, our prayer for you is that you would just continue to meet the needs of all those people, and we are here to support you and help in any way we can, and just thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us so we could learn more about you and Bridge for Wellness.
Thank you so much. Would you like me to share my how people can contact me?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
If they'd like to.
How can we get in more touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can email me at Sue Rapley at bridgeforwellness.com. I can share my cell phone as well, and that's 952-210-7659. And I'm currently working on my website as well. That should be up shortly, and that's going to be bridgeforwellness.com.
Perfect. So those of us listening out there, we can get a hold of Sue a couple of different ways, and we hope people do. Good luck in getting that website launched, and we just wish you the best.
Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you.
You have a great evening.
And you, Tim.